A lot of you are on the fence of whether or not you should buy MW3 or the MW2 DLC for the massive price of $70. And in this video, I'm going to help you guys make your decision by giving you the pros and cons from my point of view, so you guys can come up with your own formula to decide whether or not this game is for you. As everyone's already heard of, MW3 started off with its very mediocre at best campaign, and that's giving it a little more love than it really deserves. But the following weekend when multiplayer dropped, I quickly realized, holy this is real. Now, by no stretch of the imagination am I an actual fanboy of Call of Duty. I am a Call of Duty content creator. I'm not affiliated with them at all. I've been an overly harsh critic, probably to a fault, on Call of Duty and Activision, how they've just run things into the ground. But I've got a lot of positive things to say about this game, as well as some negatives. Before my days of Battle Royales, MMOs, and League of Legends, I was a multiplayer Call of Duty grinder. That and Battlefield were literally the only two games I actually played. From the very first Call of Duty on PC all the way to Infinite Warfare, I was grinding my ass off. But of course, over time, the game started getting stale, started getting overly sweaty, and overall just got boring, and I didn't really care anymore. When Modern Warfare 2019 released, I was of course playing a lot just to get camos. Same thing with Modern Warfare 2, and to be fair, both those grinds felt, well, more than a chore. They were miserable. And I say all that to say, with the declining Modern Warfare multiplayer, this multiplayer for Modern Warfare 3, in my eyes, is the best Call of Duty multiplayer we have had since Black Ops 3. And to be frank, as of right now, I would definitely put this in my top 5 and even maybe argue top 3. I know that's crazy. I get it. Savage is turning into a shill. Just follow me. And I know a lot of people out here, it's like, oh, here we go again. Another YouTuber turned a fanboy trying to get invited to COD Next. I don't give a about COD Next. I'm here to give you guys my insight, hopefully make your day, make you laugh, and give you a little bit more information than maybe someone else might. But as a gamer through and through, I'm telling you guys right now, this is the most fun multiplayer I've had in a very long time. And the grind to unlock camos is not miserable. It's a lot of fun. And to be quite frank, I'm not even doing the zombie glitch just because I'm having a great time playing multiplayer. I'll worry about zombies later on, not worried about it right now. It's that good. But that's only my opinion, so let's lay out some unbiased pros and cons from a list that I've developed. So let's go ahead and start off with the maps. A lot of banter going both ways, from good and bad and all this other stuff, but here's the truth. Just like in the OG Modern Warfare 2, some maps are good, some maps are great, and some maps just need to be removed. But comparing it to Modern Warfare 2 2022, huge W. Now, I'm not one for nostalgia, so I couldn't give a crap less about the nostalgic factor of the maps, but let's just face reality real quick. The design of these maps are brilliant. We knew they were good back in the OG days, but over the years, Call of Duty players have evolved, the gameplay's evolved, and as you know, movement has evolved. So the fact that these maps were so good and the OG boots on the ground, no movement, everyone bot walking around, and now with the sweat, slide cancel, and all this other things, the fact that they're still that good is a testament to the map's architect on how good they really are. These maps aged well. Derail, Estate, but I think in time when players start getting a little bit more understanding of the game and people start moving instead of camping, I think these maps will probably find a way back into our hearts, hopefully. I definitely loved Derail and Estate back in the OG days. Nowadays, not so much because no one freaking moves. On top of that, the visibility has been greatly increased by them adjusting the brightness and contrast on these maps, making it easier for players to spot other enemies. That's been a huge problem with other maps, including Warzone as well, is the fact that the visibility of enemies was almost impossible, especially when bringing the Groot skin, the Rose skin, and the list goes on. It made it really hard for you to enjoy the gameplay. You're getting killed by some rat sitting in a corner, abusing the crap out of the darkness. On top of that, they don't have a lot of clutter. These OG maps aren't filled with just random bushes and trees just for no reason at all. There's still places where people will camp, and we know Call of Duty rats love to camp, but for the most part, these maps are not as condensed as the MW2 and MW1 2019 maps were. And lastly, speaking about the fact that there's not as much clutter on the map, it's not as distracting either. Now, we touched on movement here and there, but here's the breakdown. It's fantastic. I'm not sure why people are crying on both sides. Lower skill players mad because we can move again, and Sweat's mad because it's not enough. Not really sure how you're gonna make everybody happy, but as a whole, as a Sweat, and often as a casual player, I really like the movement. I think it's fluid. I think it's great. It doesn't feel super over exaggerated, and it doesn't feel like you're walking in sand, so I love it. It's a huge, massive improvement over MW2, even with the tactical sprint glitch or feature, but I'm pretty sure they're already working on a fix for that. So we'll see here in the next few updates. And those of you guys that hate the game, I know you're waiting for the cons. Trust me, it's coming. But overall, the gameplay is a breath of fresh air. especially after MW2 and the meltdown we had to experience, players leaving in hordes, and most players not even returning from MW1 just because, again, they left a bitter taste in a lot of players' mouths. Visual recoil in this game has been tremendously dumbed down, and it basically doesn't exist, which helps players rely on accuracy, especially mouse and keyboard players. Matchmaking times in my experience has been extremely fast, making getting into multiple matches, if you're on a time crunch, much easier, especially with the daily challenges, but we'll get into that soon. Also on top of that, your double XP tokens don't burn, and we'll also dive into that soon as well. In the conversation of aim assist, I really don't know how to feel about it. There's a little bit of issues here and there with everything. The server stability seems a little wonky, but it always has. And hit reg felt good, and I feel like it's progressively got a little bit worse. And on top of that, latency has been an issue too. So when it comes to the conversation aim assist, there's a lot of factors that go into there, but one of the biggest factors being TTK. And let's go ahead and talk about TTK because I think it's the biggest change of all. And it might even be responsible for people feeling like their aim assist isn't as strong. Enemies die a lot slower in this game than they have in past Call of Duty titles, and thankfully so, because it gives players of all skill levels a chance to outplay Corner Camp and Timmy hiding in a corner that decides to shoot you in the back when he comes through a doorway. This allows you to actually turn on the enemy, and hopefully you're more accurate than he is when you bust out a little bit of movement and you're able to play your life. This creates a much bigger skill gap than we had in MW2, as you're all well aware of. It forces players to rely a little bit more on gun skill and forces players to actually track enemies and maybe even leave their hiding spot if they do want to get better and actually get a lot more kills. The days of you guys hiding in corners and sitting in bushes, dropping 20, 30 kills, it's almost long gone. It's still possible for you extreme campers out there, but for the most part, if you're already barely dropping 10 kills camping in a corner, it's time to change your play style and start watching my other videos to do so. But all in all, this was a huge change for casual and competitive players, while at the same time speeding up the pace of the game, making it a lot more fun, and I think we're already seeing that. Of course, camping has been and always will exist in Call of Duty, but Modern Warfare 2 almost forced players to camp because TTK was so fast that between the players I spectated, the players I killed, I really found that a lot of players were more afraid to move because they were afraid of dying than anything before. It's not that they were sitting in corner waiting for easy kills. It was just that even if they needed to rotate to another position, to cap a flag, to win in Warzone, whatever the mode was, they were really afraid to move because if they got hit 3 times, they were done. So again, TTK is not just for competitive players, not just for us content creators, it's also for casuals. Trust me, we've all been a casual before. I'm telling you right now, you guys will benefit so much from longer TTK. Just give it a chance, because I know a few of you watching right now are absolute haters. Now, there's been a lot of complaining and griping about spawns, but I'm an OG COD player, played them all. We've been through the worst spawn systems known to man. Advanced Warfare. Spawns in this game are a little bad. I don't think they're extremely bad. I think people are overhyping it. Now, Hardpoint is a whole nother ball game. That spawn system is completely chalked. They need to fix it. But modes like free-for-all, domination, team deathmatch, all the other modes seem to be pretty well balanced for the most part. Just your normal, typical COD. But in their defense, it's really not their fault. There's a lot of factors that go into play, but your 2 main factors, the enemies just running into your spawn and making y'all flip, and vice versa. Your teammates running into their spawn, making it flip. If both teams are sending enemies in y'all spawns, you're going to be continuing to flip spawns, and eventually you're going to get caught up into each other's spawns, and it happens a lot. And that's honestly just play style. Unless we have a massive map where it takes you a long time to get there, you're not really going to see much change. Grinding camos in this game is light years better than MW2 and MW1. I mean, light years better. The requirements for each weapon system is extremely obtainable by every player of every skill level based on the amount of time you put into the game. I'm having a lot of fun unlocking the camos. I'm not even doing the zombie glitch as I mentioned before. I'm just enjoying the actual grind of camos. I'm loving multiplayer. The achievements are very easy. The camos are really easy. It reminds me of the old MW2. A lot of time to get there, but it wasn't dumbass challenges in order to do it like it was in MW2. Lastly, before we get into the cons, and of course it's starting with armory system, I've got to say I've had 0 dev errors. I know a lot of you guys are having dev errors. I'm not sure what the reason is, but in MW1 and MW2, I was getting dev errors almost hourly up until really far into the game. So the fact that I've had 80 hours in this game and not a single dev error, to me, speaks volumes. I know some of you guys are having them, but let me know in the comment section right now. Are you guys having them just as much as MW1 and MW2, or are you having them less? All right, guys, but with great words about the MW3 multiplayer, of course, we have some cons. And we're gonna be starting off the armory system. Now, this is something I actually enjoy for reasons we'll discuss, but for casual players, holy hell. The armory system is a system in place that allows you to complete 3 daily challenges for an unlock. Once you complete those 3 daily challenges and unlock, You then have to go on to win a certain number of games to unlock another item, and you can queue these items up to 3, so you don't really have to remember. For instance, just making up a number, you complete your 3 daily challenges. Now you have to get 4 wins to unlock the FAMAS, making shit up. But you have 2 other items you have in the queue, so once you win your 4 games, your FAMAS is unlocked, and then it instantly goes to the next one. Then you got to get 6 wins for the next gun, then 8 for the next one, and so on and so forth until you unlock all the items. Now, it's way easier doing zombies, and I'll leave that for another video, but in multiplayer, it's extremely easy too, as long as you guys are winning games. As a sweat that plays this game all the time, I want to have a reason to play. I want to have a reason to grind. One of the reasons why I don't play Call of Duty as much as I record videos now is just because I've been bored as shit with it. Playing Warzone, playing whatever the hell it is, I've just really not had a lot of fun. There's no reason for me to grind, no reason for me to come back to it. The rank rewards are garbage. There's really nothing grindable, but with this armory system, for now at least it gives me a reason to stay on and play that one more match because I need one more win to get this attachment or one more win to get this weapon and things like that. So for me and players that play this game all the time, it's a nice addition to the game. But for you casual players out there grinding 5 to 10 games a day at best, assuming you can complete all your daily challenges within that time, and before you guys start flaming me, Savage, dailies are easy. Remember, not everybody's as good as you. A lot of casual players get on, have fun, and they don't want to tackle their dailies. They want to just play with their friends. These 5 to 10 games can be extremely time consuming for the family man, the working man, and for kids who have school, homework, or that just like to touch grass. And of course, you ladies too. Now, as a sidebar, an idea that I had was instead of unlocking attachments and things like that, I like the daily challenge idea. I love the armory system, but what I think they should do, and if you guys remember Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4, the crates that you would open, I tweeted about this earlier, so make sure you guys follow my Twitter to keep up with my crazy ideas. But what I think they should do is every time you complete your dailies, you get a point. Every time you get a win, you get a point. You start racking up these points, and then they have these crates that have limited time reactive camos or operator skins and things like that that you can then kind of gamble your points to open. So it's a free way to get badass skins that are separate from the monetary skins, and it also gives players a reason to grind. Now, I don't think they'll ever do this because it will hurt their microtransaction market because players will probably not spend as much if we just get rewarded for grinding. But if they really want to increase player retention, it's a great way to start. And the armory system is literally them trying to retain a player base. It's trying to get them to play more often because, again, MW2 was a complete disaster. Players quit, players didn't come back. It was an absolute nightmare. So let's get into the UI. This is pretty much a duh right here, and I'm shocked they haven't fixed it. I'm shocked they haven't changed it because I'll be honest, it's overwhelming. There's just too much on the screen. People compare it to Hulu, but let's be honest, Hulu is way simpler to navigate than this cluster. But the UI is not the only thing that is a clutter. Let's talk about the weapons. I low-key kind of wish they would have separated MW2 and MW3 weapons. I know everyone probably get pissed off because they don't get to keep their camos, but in reality, it's just too much. And I know that might not seem like a bad thing to a lot of you guys, but again, it's just overwhelming for the new player, even for the average player, to be fair. And on top of that, the attachments. Holy shit, dude. I wanted to find one attachment, one scope, and I had to go for like 50. It was insane. Now, the vest and the boot system, I'm not really too upset about. It's a unique way to kind of change our old school perk system. I think it's, again, a little overly complicated in a world where we're already just super complicated. There's too much shit going on. Really just kind of personally missed the base. Here's your perk 1 slot. Here's your perk 2 slot. Here's your perk 3 slot. And that was it. Now we've got all these, but this one replaces this one. But if you use this vest with this boots, it doesn't count. So they replace these boots. It's a lot of moving pieces. It's definitely understandable. It's not the most complicated thing in the world. But again, if their goal is to capture the hearts of players and the minds of players and retain these players, you got to make it simple. Sometimes simplicity is the way to go. Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. I'm talking to you, Activision. Overall, my experience on SBMM is it definitely feels different. I've played a lot of hours as a solo player, but mostly as a squad. And what I've realized is that if I am a solo player, my SBMM is way worse. But what I've found as a solo player is that if I had a game where I dropped 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 kills in domination, hardpoint, whatever mode I was playing, I would get put up mostly against full teams. And I know a lot of you guys are like, if you're playing better, you deserve to be against better players, you bot. And as much as I want to backhand you, the problem was not playing against full teams. It was the teammates they stuck me with. The weirdest thing that I experienced in Call of Duty SBM history are the teammates that I had. I had teammates that were staring in the sky. I had teammates that were camping their spawn. I had games where we were triple capped and the only person that capped a flag was me. And that was it. I'm literally playing the game by myself, with filler teammates just holding down the slot so no one else can join the game. I don't know if it was AI. I'd like to think that it was. It's a brand new game, but dude, the teammates got paired with the game after I had a great game where it was shocking. And I'm not making fun of newer players, but if we're gonna have SBMM, skill-based matchmaking, instead of just pairing me up against people of my skill with bots, why don't they pair us up with people of our skill too? You know, it should be a two-way system. I get you don't want sweats waxing lower skill players, and I'm not against it to an extent, but it's just, I don't know. It's still early. I've only played it for a week, but it's so far it's too much, man. And not even speaking from my standpoint, I'm not a solo player, so this really won't affect me that much. I'm always gonna have a full team for the most part, but for you guys out there that are solo players, get ready. If you haven't experienced yet, you will. It kind of killed my vibe. You know, I'd be playing and I was having fun, playing with people at my skill level, as randoms, as teammates, whatever. And then I would get teamed up with teammates that love to eat chalk game after game after game until I just got off. So if Call of Duty, if your goal is to keep player attention, that is not a way to do it. We're just gonna get the hell off. And so will the casuals, trust me. People have a long day at work, fighting with their wife, fighting with their girlfriend, got broken up with. People aren't gonna sit around playing with these guys eating chalk and licking windows while they're trying to have fun and play a team-based game. Speaking of chalk and licking windows, allow us to vote skip the 2 maps you give us. Nothing is worse than having to choose between Estate and Derail. It's an instant back out every time. And if you don't want lobbies disbanding, that's really a good way to do it. And segueing yet again to lobbies disbanding, an old system in Call of Duty, and I don't think it's been recent. I don't think we've had it in recent years, but in the original MW, MW2, MW3, Black Ops 2, whenever you played a match in a lobby against a team, you would stay in that lobby until someone would back out, and it increased trash talking. It created a competitive drive. One of the things that I attribute to me becoming a better player and not camping as much was being in these lobbies, running my mouth and having to back it up. And lastly, double XP tokens. This is something I've had an issue with since day one. This is something that for the most part, you spend your hard-earned money on, whether it's the battle pass, whether it's going out getting Monster Energy drinks, Mountain Dew, Little Caesars. You spend your dollar, the almighty dollar, on this code to get double XP. And one of the most infuriating things is the fact that when you pop that token, it doesn't count as game time. If you're sitting in the lobby waiting for a game to start, if you get dev errored and you get kicked out, that's time off your double XP the entire time it takes you to reconnect. If for some reason there's an update and you have to restart, and then of course update requires restart, you got to restart again, that's time off. There are too many game issues that take away from your double XP token. I would like to see it only be game time. Make sure you guys check out my video tomorrow. I'll be giving you guys my thoughts on zombies and how good I think it is, how bad I think it is, the pros and the cons, and the ideas that I have that they can make this mode a lot better, because you guys will be shocked on what I have to say about MWZ. But y'all have a good one. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.